Hey everybody, Johnny Guitar here from the Guitar Family, just doing a little bit of Diablo today. As you can see, I'm doing Act 1, Inferno. This is dangerous stuff here, but I learned to avoid death. I think I only die once throughout this entire video. Now, some of the abilities that I use here, on my main left click is Evasive Fire. You shoot for 125% of weapon damage if the enemy is in front of you. At close range, you will backflip, and this is definitely great for avoiding death. Now I'm about to kill this, and we're gonna go ahead and fast forward through the trash. I just want to show you how I defeat the champion in rare packs. Just kind of show you guys the maneuvering around I do for those hard fights. But to get back to the abilities that I'm using, I also use Volt on my right click. I feel like this is best on my right click for maneuvering fast. I absolutely like it having it on the right click. That's just my preference. I use a secondary tumble. After using a Volt, you get your next Volt within 6 seconds has its discipline cost reduced by 50%, which is definitely great since you save on that discipline. Since that comes, important when you're trying to either smoke screen to avoid death, or if you're trying to use your caltrops, to trap the enemy and slow them down. Now that brings me to my next ability that I like to use is the caltrops. This only costs 6 discipline. It lays a trap down on the ground that will slow the enemy down, and also the secondary I use is Torturous Ground. When the trap is sprung, all enemies in the area are immobilized for 2 seconds, which is a must in Inferno. I absolutely love this, and I would recommend anybody else to use it as well. So that brings me on to the next ability I have on my number 4 key is Smoke Screen. Vanish behind a wall, smoke, you become invisible for a second, and you can avoid death and run away. This is very important for avoiding quick death. If you need it at that dire moment, this is a good ability to have. Now, as you can see on my number 2, I'm using Hungering Arrow with Devouring Arrow. Each consecutive pierce increases the damage of the arrow by 70%. Now, other people prefer to use the other version of Hungering Arrow called Shatter Shot, which if the arrow successfully pierces, then it splits up and hits other targets, which could be great for AoE, but I prefer Hungering Arrow. I think it does more damage. That's just my personal preference. And then my number 1 ability, a lot of people have changed this since patch 103, but I'm still using Elemental Arrow with the Nether Tentacles. I think that the Life Leech is definitely a must for Inferno. If you take a little bit of damage, you want to always try and keep yourself topped off. So that's pretty much it for my abilities. As you can see here, I'm with a co-op group trying to farm Inferno, getting some items. I believe Act 1 is the easiest. I can solo Act 3, and if I get in a good enough pickup group, sometimes I can handle Act 3 with a couple others, but most of the time I get a bunch of noobs, and we're unable to kill anything. It's mostly just a death fest, and as you know from the last patch, it's really expensive to die, so it's not fun. And so yeah, let's talk about my gear now. Now currently I do about 50,000 damage, which isn't much compared to some people are doing in the 3 figures, even 200,000 damage. But I'm more for survivability and also for magic find. So I'm kind of balanced all the way around. My resistance is my lowest one is 530. That's for physical resistance. Everything else is above 500. I even got 610 fire resistance. So overall, I'm in the 60% to 70% damage reduction for resistance. But my actual damage reduction as a whole is only at about 47%. But I can take a couple of hits from anything pretty much, and not die in just one shot, which is good. Until I get to about Act 3 or 4, then I can still die from about one shot. So it does make it a little bit difficult as I go further and progress through the acts. Now as for my life, I'm currently sitting at 28,000 health points. Not much. I would like a little bit more, but you know, like I said, I'm kind of balanced all the way around. Let's see here. My critical chance is at 100%. My critical hit damage is at 176%. And my current dexterity is at 1077. My vitality is 683. Those are just some numbers throwing out there. Just letting you know what I have here. I do have lifesteal on my weapon, so I have 2.40% lifesteal, and that stacks with the nether tentacles. So that's definitely nice for healing back up. Now, as for my magic find, this is one of the most important things. If you want to gear up as you defeat these champion packs, you get this up as high as you can. Currently, my magic find is sitting at 227% if I have my follower with me. And he adds 16%, or he adds a little bit, not much, to that percentage. But all my gear pretty much has dexterity, vitality, all resistance, very important, and then magical find. And I tried to get some attack speed in there as well, and balance all around. But let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. Now, as you can see, I just stumbled across a treasure seeker. These guys are great. I've actually found quite a few legendaries from these treasure seekers. So if you do find one of these, it's very important to play it smart when you kill them. If you're in a group, wait for your group members, or you probably won't get them alone, because they do portal out fast. Alright, so now that we are have the valor stacks that we need, 5 is a maximum that you can get. Once you get 5 stacks, then a boss will guarantee drop 2 rares, and if you have 4 stacks, they guarantee 1 rare. And then the most important thing, though, is that if you have 5 stacks, each one of the champion packs or elite packs, they do drop at least 1 guaranteed rare each pack once you have 5 stacks. So that's what we work towards. Plus the buff itself gives you magical find and gold find, which is great to keeping up on that stockpile. So yeah, as you can see here, we're gonna finish off this last guy here, and then we'll make our way towards the butcher, and bring him down, go through that. So as you can see with this one here, he's not too hard of a fight. He's fairly easy. You do have to watch out for those lava pits that he lays down. Even with all the resistance that I have, if I stay in there, I'm most likely gonna die. So you want to stay away from those. There's a few things that you want to stay out of. If it's doing damage to you, don't stand in it, right? As you can see there, I do salvage all my level 60 items that don't sell for more than 2,000 gold. If it sells for more than 2,000 gold, then I'll just sell that item. Any item that is under level 60, I automatically sell it as well, unless it has good stats. Then I'll try and sell it on the auction house. The reason I don't salvage under level 60 is because I have no use to make that type of gear that uses a different type of essence. Mostly what I want is an exquisite essence for the high level crafting items. I don't really care for the lower level items. And those essences, those high level essences, they sell for almost 2,000 a piece. So that's why if the item sells for over 2,000, I'll usually just sell the item instead of salvaging it. Now these guys are a little bit more tough. As you can see, we brought him down. You just want to stay away from those icicles that pop up. It's fairly easy as long as you have a visual awareness of what's going on around you, and not just shooting down a cannon. That tunnel vision people get you killed. So just pay attention to what's going on, and you shouldn't have too hard of a time. Now these guys here, they'll wind up and they'll slam down those hammers or maces, and if they hit you, that will one-shot you. So you just need to be careful. Luckily with this group, there was a monk that was able to take some damage. So he didn't. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. But he is fairly alright. I mean, better than most. Some can hardly take any damage at all. I think it's funny when people disregard all resistance altogether. Then they wonder why they die so fast. They can do like hundreds of thousands of points of damage, but they die instantly. So kind of doesn't make it worth it to me. That's why I was balanced all the way around. Yeah, this is basically my farming here. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I'm gonna go ahead and continue to play through this, and just show you up until the butcher. Let me know what you think though. Leave a comment below. If you do decide you like these videos that I'm posting, let me know. I'll definitely make more videos. I know I've tried a few different things here with these videos, and some things didn't work out. So I'm obviously gonna stay away from trying to be funny, I guess, with commentary on these. But I hope you like this. As you can see, I do all right. Those mortars that they shoot, they did change it to where if you're close up, they can't actually hit you with those mortars. So there's like a sweet spot that you want to be in, that's not too far out and then not too close in. But they did increase the range on those mortars as well. So if you try and get the max distance, they can actually hit you and surprise you because you can't even see it coming. It's funny, like I was saying, a lot of these people, they don't like to stack the all resistance, and when that happens, when they get those champion packs or elites that do reflect damage, they'll die. They can't take the damage because all resistance basically saves them, and yeah, they're just not able to handle the damage that's coming back at them without the all resistance. So once again, that's an important thing. You need to stack all resistance. That was a sweet spot there. Getting all those rares from that goblin. Gotta love those goblins. You can probably get about 200,000 gold. I don't have much gold find. I know a lot of people are stacking gold find. Really focusing on that. To me though, it's not worth it. The gold market is oversaturated as it is. It is necessary though. You do need gold to repair. It's really expensive to repair now. But in my opinion, I think that magic find trumps gold find. If you can get gear that has gold find and magic find on it with the other primary stats that you want, definitely do that. They are more expensive. As for the real money auction house, my personal experience with it, I've made over $100. I haven't really found any, superior items, but I did find a couple that worth selling. I think some of these guys are crazy trying to sell items for $250, and the people who are buying them are even more crazy. But people, I guess, have a little bit more money to spend freely like that. But yeah, I do enjoy this game very much, as do many others. There's a lot of controversy regarding the real money auction house, the changes that they're making. They're even changing items in the game. So there's a lot of things that people are getting upset about that they're changing within the game, but that's expected so that they can balance around whatever they're trying to balance around. Alright, so I'm going to end the commentary here. I do hope you've all enjoyed this. After I kill the butcher, there is going to be follow-up, farming through the cemetery, That's a good hot spot for farming more champion packs. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Once again, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. But the commentary ends here, and y'all take care.
This will overburden me. I'm well again.